conference yesterday in Lansing. All the Lansing media. It's nice to have the West Michigan media here. We wanted to be here to talk with you. Although Autumn, she goes anywhere. She goes anywhere there's a story, even Lansing. We saw her yesterday in the Capitol. It was incredible. You're going to really like coming to interview me in the Speaker's office next year. It's a great office, so we'll have a lot of fun. You're all welcome, WZZM, all of you. And I give you a lot of credit. There's a lot of high-quality journalism and reporting going on in West Michigan, and I watch all of it that you do, so thank you. And WKZO is incredible. And I just see so much value to our local media, TV and radio, how important it is, because it's about the only way people in Michigan know what's going on in their local communities and in Lansing. So thank you for all that you do. I wish we were here under better circumstances. What we're facing is the complete destruction of our state's restaurant industry. And we're seeing the livelihoods of 60,000 restaurant workers in jeopardy, all because of an activist Democrat Supreme Court who invented a new law that will eliminate tipping in Michigan. And as a result of that, our restaurant workers are going to see their wages go down. Now, at many restaurants like this, and we're here at the 600 Kitchen here, and they've got a great leader in Ken Miller, somebody I've known a long time since I was a student at Western, and he was on the board of trustees there. And I'll say the Millennium Group, which runs many of the restaurants here in Kalamazoo, what I learned about the Millennium Group and Ken Miller is, he started these restaurants, and so many other restaurants have spiraled off of the restaurants that he created. He's kind of the godfather of the Kalamazoo restaurant industry. But what you see is these restaurant workers, they come and they learn maybe when they're at Western at places like this, they get inspired and they go and they start their own restaurants. It's incredible what's grown and spiraled out of his work over many years. And these restaurants employ a lot of people, like I said, over 60,000 people in Michigan. And they make a good living. We were together with Ken and many restaurant workers recently at the Fetzer Center. And what we heard from them is that, these are college students, these are single moms, these are people who've worked their entire lives in this industry and have been able to provide for their family and for their kids. And what they rely on is this tipping system, where you go out to eat and you tip them, and they make so much more than a minimum wage. I mean, $25, $30 an hour, and in many cases much higher than that. What this court wants is to force them to make $15 an hour, and then increase prices at restaurants by 25%. I believe that you're going to see, from what we're hearing from our restaurant owners, that the price of a burger is going to go up to $25. You're going to see a 25% increase in prices at restaurants and at and drinks when you go out. And so the question is, across Michigan, how many Michigan families are going to be able to afford to go out? We've looked at surveys and polling, and what we're being told based on the surveys is it's going to be like a 70% drop. Well, let me say it differently. 70% of people are going to go out less. And I think it was around 70% of people are going to tip less or not tip at all, because it's like when you go to McDonald's. They're making a fixed wage, and so people don't tip when they go there. That's what they're bringing to the restaurant industry, and that's why thousands of people have been coming to the Capitol and saying, we need our state legislators to stand up and fight for us. And so what I want to say today is, House Republicans hear you, restaurant workers and bartenders and wait staff. We hear you, and we're going to fight for you. I know many times people feel like their voice isn't heard by politicians in Lansing. Well, House Republicans hear you, and we're committed to solving this problem and saving your industry and ensuring that you make a good living for your family, just like you do now under the system where people tip you, where you make a lot of money. So we're going to help fight for our restaurant workers. That's why we're not going into session. There's supposed to be session today. Today is supposed to be the last day of session in the House in Michigan. You saw Republicans not take the floor on Friday the 13th last week. And yesterday, Democrats cannot get a quorum because there are now brave Democrats joining our cause, like Karen Whitsett in Detroit, and yesterday Sylvia Santana in the Senate in Detroit. And so all the Democrats would have to do to stop this gridlock is sit down and work through an agreement to save our restaurant industry. Why is that so hard? Instead, what they want to do is they want to gerrymander county commission districts in Kent County, playing around with who's on a board that decides the county commission districts in Kent County, so the politicians they want get elected to the county commission. They want to allow prisoners, they want corrections workers to register prisoners to vote. They want to let violent criminals out of prison early. This is what they have on the agenda today if we went in to vote. You look at things like giving illegal aliens driver's licenses and everything else that they're proposing, doubling hotel taxes so you can put billboards along I-94 telling you to visit Detroit. Look, these are not issues that we need to be working on right now. Saddling the state with $25 billion more of pension debt and jeopardizing the state police pension fund. These are not things that we need to do. So if we want to fight for real issues, we want to work on solving the real crisis facing our state, we need to stand up for our restaurant workers. That's all we're asking Speaker Tate to do. I give the governor a lot of credit. You saw the governor come out and say, if you don't give me solutions to real issues, other Democrats, I'm not going to sign your bills. Beware. So really, there's a lot of alignment between what we're saying and what the governor's saying. It's just Joe Tate and Winnie Brinks and these legislative Democrats that need to get their priorities right. This is why the people elected Republicans to take over the House next year and make me the Speaker of the House is they want people that understand the issues that matter most in our communities serving them. And that's what they're going to get with us next year. So we're going to fight to do it. Hopefully there's some kind of breakthrough today and something can happen. But if there's not, then we should adjourn today for the year. It's the last session day. And I will fight for restaurant workers next year, and House Republicans will lead very early in January moving legislation to save our restaurant industry and protect our tips. I'll turn it over real briefly to Angela Rigas from Caledonia, a great state representative. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for opening up this establishment for us. And I, first of all, want to thank Speaker-elect Hall for his outstanding leadership through this process. Getting 54 Republicans to stand firm together has not been an easy feat. But when it comes to defending our small businesses and our restaurants, I think it's come quite easy. So I myself am a former server. I served when I was a single mother, and I will tell you that we hear you. Republicans stand firm on this issue. We've drawn a line in the sand, and we will not cave, we will not compromise until this issue has been brought up by the House Democrats. Speaker Tate has been the most ineffective speaker in Michigan history. And Dana Nessel, how dare you threaten us and tell us that we are committing crimes by not showing up. By not showing up and stalling the state government, the people of Michigan are actually safer this week. So that's what I need to say. And thank you, restaurant owners. We're with you. Small business owners, we stand with you. And in January, we will come out leading on this issue and find a common sense solution, because servers make a lot of money, and you deserve to keep your wages. This is the hardest working industry in our state, and we stand firm on this issue. Thank you.
Here. Great. And Luke Meerman's here too from, where do you live?
Coopersville.
From Coopersville, great place. You watch a lot of WZZM in Coopersville, don't you?
Absolutely.
It's a dominant, your market share there is incredible. All right, well, if there are any questions, we'll turn them over to you. So any questions?
How soon in January will you move a bill
if this doesn't pass this month, to take care of the wage issue?
Yeah, so according to the Michigan Constitution, the day the legislature starts will be January 8th. And so we'll swear in on January 8th, we'll elect me speaker, and then we'll move on this shortly after that to get this through the House. And then we'll negotiate with Leader Brinks and the governor, and I'm confident that I'll be able to negotiate a deal to get it done with our colleagues in the House standing alongside me. We'll get it done, but we need better leadership in the House. Our Speaker, Joe Tate, is totally ineffective and can't make the deal. So we'll put in new leadership next year, and we'll make the deal, and we'll save the restaurant industry. But the problem is for them, you know, you think about the uncertainty, right? If you're working as a server over the holidays, or even a restaurant owner who's trying to keep your business afloat, and you don't know until, say, late January, early February, if this is going to happen or not. And there's a looming deadline here for this. The activist court gave us for this law to take effect at the end of February. So, you know, what I feel bad about is I just feel bad for all those people whose lives are in this jeopardy. Their livelihoods are in jeopardy. They don't know what's going to happen. I wish we could have solved that problem now, but unfortunately Democrats are fumbling this issue. We'll come in and we'll lead strongly and we'll get it done next year, but unfortunately for our restaurant workers, that means an uncertain time until early January when we start moving this.
You said today you will take the time to address the concerns that restaurant workers do have about this amendment, so obviously we know you're in Kalamazoo right now. Where else do you plan on going today?
Yeah, so we have other legislators working to do these kind of statements in their districts. So, you know, what I believe is, you know, there's a lot of facets to the job of being state representative. I mean, one of those things is voting. Another is being out in your community and listening to the people of your district. You know, I represent Kalamazoo and Allegan counties. And so I want to be in places like this, talking to Ken Miller, talking to the restaurant owners, talking to the workers, making sure they understand we hear them, learning from them, and so we can go in and we can fight for them next year in Lansing. And so you'll see other representatives doing that in Detroit and Midland and Northern Michigan, talking to their communities and making sure that we're in touch so we're ready to fight for these issues next year.
And I know it was touched on a little bit earlier, but the Attorney General did take to Facebook saying that she would be charging Republicans who are not in session today. Do you have a response for that?
Yeah, I mean, this Attorney General is a complete activist. Look, I mean, she's bullied and threatened so many innocent Michiganders, tying them up into criminal proceedings for years, and then these cases get dismissed. I mean, look at the Flint water crisis and how she bungled that for years and years, and then nobody got convicted of anything. No, you know, and then you look at you know, St. Clair Shores, where she started going after some people that made some innocent mistakes on their election process, and then that got dismissed. And so time after time after time, this Attorney General is using lawfare to go after innocent people in Michigan and losing. But, you know, look at how that destroys people's lives, being tied up for years in criminal litigation just because you're a Republican and the Attorney General has a political agenda against you. So House Republicans, we're not going to be bullied by the Attorney General. We're a separate branch of government. We're the legislative branch. And under Michigan's laws and Constitution, we have the authority to look at her budget. We set her budget. And her office is out of control, and so there's a lot of changes that we're going to have to make to her budget to stop her from going after innocent Michiganders time after time after time. There will be oversight hearings trying to get her to justify all of these radical things that she's doing. I mean, she's spending your tax dollars to lose frivolous lawsuits. People should be outraged by that. And so we're not going to stand for it. We're not going to be bullied by her. And it's just unbelievable that she would even make that threat. And if you look, even Democrat legislators like Alabas Farhat from Dearborn are condemning her for that. You know, we are going to do our job, and she should start doing her job because she's failing at it.
In a press release yesterday, SML Brinks sounded like she was open to talking.
Yeah.
If you talk to her at all, is that even a possibility now?
I would say this. So what, you know, her and I could negotiate a deal, and we will negotiate a deal next year. But if I negotiate a deal with her, we still need Joe Tate, the House Speaker, to perform this year. And what he's done over and over and over is gone back on deals, made commitments, and failed the people of Michigan. So we can negotiate a deal, but you still need Tate. That's why next year we'll get the deal done with Leader Brinks, and we'll save the restaurant industry. So I'm happy that she wants to talk, and I'm looking forward to making a deal. And it'll be a good deal that helps our restaurant workers and saves their livelihoods and keeps great places like 600 Kitchen open. And I don't know, maybe Ken Miller will even expand if we get a good enough deal. Maybe he'll even, I don't know if anyone could have more restaurants than he does, but you never know. If we get a good enough deal, maybe we'll see even more restaurants in Kalamazoo. But right now, the industry is in jeopardy, and they're looking for fighters to stand up for them, and we're going to be those fighters, the House Republicans. Anything else? All right. Well, I give you credit for covering this. I think this is the most important issue facing our state, and it has a deadline in February. And so, to me, we have to just keep talking about this with people, because if people across West Michigan understand this, they'll call their legislators, and they'll talk to their servers, and they'll learn about this issue. And we need the people to know about this to get this done. So I give you credit for that. You see other reporters who focus on things that, they're still fighting about the 2020 election. I appreciate you all being here and focusing on the issues that matter most. So we'll keep the fight, and hopefully today's the last day of session, and we can flip the page to stronger leadership and good outcomes for our restaurant workers. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, okay.